All right, so we're here with Kylie Branquinho today, and she brought some of her horses over to be looked at, and we're going to use different acupressure points to see what would be the best for her horse, and to kind of explain acupressure to somebody that's never been exposed to it. Think of it as like different currents of energy going throughout the body, and if there's a place that's reactive, that tells us that it's kind of a short circuit in a sense, and we need to give some attention to that. These different points that we'll be touching on that potentially are going to be what we call hot, it correlates with an organ or a body part and tells us that we need to be looking at it. The great thing, the one thing about this hot spot is it could be a deficiency or it could be an excess. And the good news about silver lining herbs and the products that we'll be recommending for those hot spots is that they work great whether it would be a deficiency or an excess, and we can come up with the appropriate plan. So tell us a little bit about this guy that's fighting off the flies here.
Wow, she's not very happy with them, but
No.
This is my breakaway horse.
Okay.
And she's 7. She's turned 7 this year. And she works great. She just has a little attitude at times.
Okay, so explain a little bit of an attitude, like like in a good way or a bad way,
or she just thinks she's the boss.
Okay.
And can rule me at times, and sometimes she just likes to fight me.
Okay.
But she makes it up with how she works. So
yeah.
it's a
well, they say all
give
good
and
horses
take.
have a little quirk, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, very good. So is there anything that like that's concerning you about her that you want to address, or?
I mean, not really. She's felt really good lately.
Yeah. And what do you use her for?
I breakaway on her.
Breakaway on her?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Awesome. Well, let's start going through these points and seeing what she's telling us with those. So this right here, if she'd be sensitive here, that's a dental point.
Okay.
If you go down her jugular groove here at the very bottom and squeeze, we'd be thinking herpes. So herpes in horses is a little bit like shingles in people. So like inflammation of the central nervous system is how you could look at that. This would be a suspensory issue there. When we go down this jugular groove and drop over this little bit of gristle, there's a kidney point there. Man, wouldn't everybody want mains? Is this
it's all real, I promise you guys.
It's awesome. So if you look here, like you see a point of shoulder right here, and if you are parallel to the ground and go straight to the middle of that shoulder right here, that point right there, like I'd be thinking like an abscess or something like that could be potentially bothering her. Here, and you can kind of come around here so you can see a little bit. I don't want to get kicked if she is sensitive.
Oh.
So where this leg, the shoulder kind of goes into the barrel right here in the girth part, if you go like towards her ribs and then behind that muscle and forward, that'd be an immune point. So that's one that you like super easy to check, like as you're saddling them, and you kind of just get ahead of it in case there's something going on, especially like where you're going to rodeos and things like that. So right here at the where the mane ends, and you drop down about 2 or 3 inches, and you go down, that's heart, lung.
Oh, wow.
And whenever like they're a little reactive there, I kind of go a couple different times to see if they rub out or not, see if it's just kind of like a fly flicker response or not. You go from the top of that triangle down. If that would be sensitive there, that'd be telling me that she's pulling with her front end instead of pushing with her back end, and there's be a reason for that compensation. And we'll go through some other points to see if that's true or not. We go to the middle of the back here, this would be liver. And so all these different points, like as I'm going through here, it's kind of like there's high and low points along there, and like you can just feel it, and like your finger would just fall into that spot quite easily actually, like once you're familiar with these spots.
Right.
And just press, like, I always have a hard time figuring out like how to describe that pressure, but like 15 pounds of pressure, kind of like a firm handshake is like a good way to describe it. If you go just past the flank, basically, right over the loins there, that'd be kidney point. And then in front of the point of the hip, the croup right there, that'd be small intestine, large intestine. Then we go down into this groove back here, and then we have stifle, hawk, and fetlock. So that's all on the bladder meridian right there. And then also we have an endocrine point, and like right where that flank meets each other right there, that calic right there, we go forward a couple inches and down an inch right behind that last rib, and we press right there. And if she would be like her endocrine system, meaning like ovaries, uterus, anything in that realm, if that would be sensitive, then they would be thinking something to support her hormonal system. There's an ulcer point right behind the back of the sternum in her navel, so that's about an 8-inch distance right there. So if you go about 4 inches behind the sternum and you press straight up with that single finger with that firm pressure, and they might arc their back or lift a leg, try to kick you or something like that, then I'd be thinking ulcers at that point. But she's solid in a couple, she's really solid. And then, like I was telling Kirsten earlier, like if I ever have like a thing that I think is showing up, like this digestive point, liver, kidney was all kind of a little bit reactive. So we're gonna go to this other side and test the same thing and get a more true response of what she says here.
Oh, Maggie. See, I told you, Maggie May. Do not bite me.
So she like feels really good. I mean, there's a little bit like here in the lung department, and then a little bit in the liver, a little bit in the kidneys. So if I was going to be doing something for her, I'd put her like on the kidney, the liver, and the respiratory support.
Perfect.
And I know you're using Silver Lining on her right now. What are you using on her right now?
I have liver, I have kidney, and I have immune right now. And keep cool when I compete on her.
Perfect. That sounds really good. So I don't know what she was like before, so it's hard to say like where you're at in the progression of it, but you're on the right track with giving her the liver and the kidney, so I just continue on that path with her.
Perfect.
And that's what I would do.